Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, your home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. In today's video, we're going to be providing a follow-up on a really interesting biopharmaceutical company that we've actually covered on the channel previously. The name is Avicanna, and there's a lot going on at this company that we'd like to discuss in today's video. Before we get into it, take a second. Smash the like button, guys. Big help to myself and the channel, especially in getting this content to other people like you who may find value. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We just crossed 46,000 subscribers. We'd love to have you as part of the channel. And finally, let me know in the comment section below if you've heard of this company before, if you're currently holding shares, and your outlook on the sector entering 2025. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be profiling Avicanna Incorporated, trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange under the ticker AVCN and on the OTC in the United States under the ticker AVCNF. Now this is a really interesting story. We initially covered this one quite some time ago on the channel. Big developments in the business operations and strategy since that initial coverage, so we wanted to provide a follow-up. This is as of close on Friday, November 29th. You can see a very strong session for Avicanna, up just north of 14.5% or 4.5 cents on the day to close out at 35.5 cents Canadian. Now, if we look at a 5-day chart, this is really an extension of a great bullish trend we've seen over the past week, really originating in that 27-cent range back on the 26th of November and running all the way up to 36.5 cents during intraday trading on Friday. Now, if we zoom out to a 1-month view, you can see, again, a very strong pattern here, you guys, moving up from about 23.5 cents in the middle of November to where we currently sit today. And despite this strong movement we've seen in share price over the past month, market cap still sitting in the $40 million Canadian range, despite all of the key developments that we're going to talk about next up in the presentation. Now, for those of you who missed our initial coverage on Avicanna, I quickly wanted to go to the About Us section on the corporate website, avicanna.com. I'll leave this linked in the video description below as well if you'd like to go in and take a closer look. You can see Avicanna is a commercial stage international biopharmaceutical company focused on the advancement and commercialization of evidence-based, cannabinoid-based products for the global medical and pharmaceutical market segments. Avicanna is a commercial and scale-up stage biopharmaceutical company established in R&D or research and development and commercialization of that evidence-based cannabinoid products for the international consumer. Now, supported by their Canadian scientific platform, which we're going to look at in the investor presentation, Avicanna has successfully commercialized its proprietary products into 19 international markets. So the big differentiator for me is this is evidence-based R&D, looking at the potential benefits of cannabinoid-based products, and they're already in the commercial stage, which is absolutely critical when you're looking at these inflection points in terms of biopharmaceutical companies and their share price. Now, in terms of the corporate highlights, we're going to look at their Q3 earnings in a second here. However, you'll see under their commercial platform, there's now 4 commercial stage business pillars, which we're going to look at. So not only are they in the commercialization stage, they've got over 30 commercialized proprietary products, and as we just saw, are addressing that global market opportunity. Now, the scientific platform, the other side of the business, again, which we'll look at in the investor presentation, has now established industry-leading scientific infrastructure. They've partnered with some of the biggest academic and clinical institutes in the world. They've got an indication-specific pharmaceutical pipeline and their J-Labs partnership at Johnson & Johnson, which is basically an incubation program, again, further propelling this company forward. Now, Q3 highlights, again, we'll look at the press release in a second here. 57% gross margin, $18.8 million of top-line revenue, which is an increase of 75% over last year. $9.5 million in gross profit, an increase of 93% from last year, and a 22% increase in Canadian unit sales to top it off. So those are some of the highlight or key numbers takeaways from earnings. And with that being said, I did want to pull up the full press release that actually came out on the 14th of November. Now, earlier I mentioned the importance of being in that commercialization stage. it really makes a huge difference in terms of the viability of these organizations once they're able to prove their concept and convert that into revenue, which we've seen at Avicanna. You can see 9-month revenue or 3-quarter period revenue, $18.8 million, which is a 75% increase over the first 9 months of last year. With the CEO going on to say, we are pleased to report the results of another quarter showing progressive improvements across our 4 business pillars. Our continuous optimization efforts contributed to improvements in our overall financial performance, consolidated gross margins, and balance sheet. We are now better positioned to turn our attention towards our international growth initiatives and take steps towards advancing our long-term business model. So this was really a transformative quarter, and again, setting some new records for the company, including that impressive top-line revenue, $6.3 million in the quarter, $18.8 million in the 9-month period, improving gross margins up to 57% now in Q3, and managed to pay $1.3 million worth of outstanding balance principal under their non-convertible debenture. Now, on top of that, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office has now granted the company's patent covering their deep penetrating topical cannabinoid composition. So that's actually a method for treating musculoskeletal inflammation and pain. And worth noting, they've now upped their SKU count or number of products to 35 commercial SKUs and 136 commercial listings, with 45,126 units being sold in the 3-month or 3rd quarter period, and 144,756 units being sold year to date. So very impressive numbers, and obviously being received very well from the investment community, as we've really seen this company's share price rally since the 14th of November when this earnings report came out. If we jump back to our chart, you can see on the 14th, Avicanna was trading at 25.5 cents, so 10 cents below where it currently is today. Now, before we get into the details of the various different business units, I did want to bring up this slide, which talks about the separation of adult use recreational cannabis from medical and CB pharmaceuticals. So for people who are unfamiliar with this industry, there is quite a distinction between these different verticals. And worth noting that Avicanna participates in the 2 columns on the right, which is obviously medical cannabis and CB pharmaceuticals, with RHO Phyto and MyMedi.ca under the medical cannabis vertical, with Trunerox and the remainder of their pharmaceuticals pipeline obviously being based in the CB or cannabinoid-based pharmaceuticals vertical. So now we're going to jump in and take a deeper look at these 4 different commercial business pillars, the first being RHO Phyto, second MyMedi.ca, both of which are under the medical cannabis vertical. Then they've got their pharmaceutical pipeline and their Santa Marta vertical. So we actually talked about the RHO Phyto products in our last video. These are advanced drug delivery system formulations for CBD, THC, and CBG, international medical market segments, ranging from things like capsules, oil drops, local creams, gummies, tablets, and a variety of other cannabinoid-based or derived products. MyMedi.ca was actually established through the acquisition of medical cannabis by Shoppers Drug Mart, and now acts as a nationwide medical cannabis care platform, over 200 SKUs and 50 Canadian brands, including 35 of Avicanna's own SKUs from the RHO Phyto family, which we just looked at, and partnerships with 17 private and public insurance companies here in Canada, with over 75% of their revenue coming from insurance-covered products or insurance coverage itself. So obviously a great platform for Avicanna and a strong revenue component of the overall organization. Now from there, you've got their pharmaceutical pipeline. So this is going to be looking to solve things like sleep problems, eczema, pain management, anxiety, depression, and epilepsy. Here you can see their Trunerox drug candidate, which is an orally delivered product targeting child catastrophic epileptic syndromes, and a variety of other candidates currently in the pipeline. And some additional details on Trunerox here, which is a 10% CBD oral solution, again targeting those 50 million people worldwide that have epilepsy and unfortunately are unable to find one of the existing 28 FDA approved drugs to support their recovery. Now the 4th pillar is surrounding their active pharmaceutical ingredients, or essentially their supply chain business segment and vertical integration, so sourcing the cannabinoid products themselves, with their majority-owned subsidiary in Santa Marta, Colombia, with a 300,000 square foot facility and 26,000 kilogram capacity in terms of annual production. So this is actually the division where Avicanna sources all of their products, and cultivates the various different crops of CBD, CBG, and THC since the year 2020. And worth noting here, they've now had over 30 completed harvests and have brought their average cost per gram down below 10 cents. Now on the other side of the business, you've got their scientific platform and R&D division. Once again, over 30 proprietary commercial products, an extensive pharmaceutical pipeline based here in Canada, 11 Canadian government research grants since 2020, 10 plus scientists, several issued and pending patents, and 100% ownership of all of their IP or intellectual property and trade secrets. And here you can see those world-class institutions or collaborations that they've partnered with, including the University of Guelph, Langara, and the University of Toronto. So with that being said, you guys, a very interesting company harnessing the power of cannabinoids in the biopharmaceutical space. They're delivering strong revenue and margins, both of which have improved tremendously period over period and year over year, a diversified pipeline of products and platforms, and that dual-pronged approach with their commercialized products and their research or science division within the Avicanna umbrella. Now, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comments section below if you're currently holding shares of this company, what you thought about their Q3 results, and your outlook into 2025. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button, you guys. Big help to myself and the channel. And if you're not currently subscribed, we just crossed the 46,000 subscriber milestone. We'd love to have you as part of the community. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.